This is the House of Hockey podcast on the Hockey Podcast Network. Hockey is more than a game, it's a lifestyle. It's you, the diehard supportive fans, your favorite players who are on the team you cheer for, and the organization who supports them.
The companies that make your gear, bags, and beer league sweaters. The hockey moms and hockey dads, and everything else that makes this House of Hockey your home. Come on in. I'm Breezy.
And I'm Rae Rae.
And this is our house. The tournament is in full swing and the action hasn't disappointed. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is putting new customers in the center of action. Bet $1 on any tournament game, and if your team wins, you win $100, and it's that simple. Turning $1 into $100 is 100-to-1 odds.
Pick any college basketball team that's still in the hunt for your shot at winning $100. All it takes is a $1 bet, and that team winning their next game. You got all that? There's no better way to put your college basketball knowledge to the test than to put your money where your mouth is with DraftKings Sportsbook. Don't worry if college basketball isn't for you. DraftKings Sportsbook has 100-to-1 odds on select fighters for this weekend's UFC 260. Whatever that is. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code THPN. That's the Hockey Podcast Network, THPN. When you sign up to turn $1 into $100 if the college basketball team of your choosing pulls off the win. That's code THPN to turn $1 into $100 for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in Indiana, 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Welcome to the House of Hockey podcast. I am one of your hosts, Breezy.
And I'm your other host, Rae Rae.
And this is episode 54, and we have a really special guest this week. He is probably pretty well known if you are a Flyers fan. It is the one and only Lou Nolan.
Yes, he is the PA for the Flyers. That's the public announcer, the public address announcer, however you want to say it. But he has been doing this for 49 seasons with the Flyers the whole time. It's unbelievable.
Crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being at like a single job for 49 years?
No way. That's so many years.
That's a lot of years.
That's a lot of hockey that he's gotten to see. Players, coaches, opposing teams, players. Like, yeah, think of all the
monumental times. Yeah.
He's seen the whole breadth of hockey as, we know it today, which is so cool. He's got so many great stories too, by the way, because Lou was telling us how previously in previous years, he was down on the ice in between the two benches where he was like stationed, and has some interesting stories about some players interacting with him and
fan stories.
If you don't know anything about the Flyers, or you've never been to a Flyers home game, he'll describe that for you as well. And he's nowadays really known for his Pico power play call, and I'm not even going to try to emulate it because you can't emulate Lou Nolan. So I'll let you look it up, and you can hear him talk about how that's come about. And yeah, it's a great conversation. We talk about gritty and just we covered it all, didn't we?
Literally every single thing you can talk about, I would assume, right?
Yeah, it's great. So stay tuned for that. But first, we have to discuss a few things. If you're watching on video, I got a haircut.
It looks so good. It looks like your personality, and a haircut.
Thank you. That's the nicest thing you've said.
Oh, thanks.
No, you said a lot of nice things. But yeah, I needed to change. So speaking of change, I cut my hair, I painted my bedroom, and I moved across the country. And I didn't get any more tattoos. Instead, I just changed my location, my hair, the color of this room that I'm in. And then today I put up shelving. So the room doesn't have a closet. So I had to build a closet along with some assistance from a friend here. So we put that up today. I was using a drill bit and I was drilling holes in the wall and putting screws in, and I did a pretty good job.
That looks great.
Yeah.
Looks great. I just like how you needed a change and you did like the most drastic change you could possibly do.
What?
And if I need a change,
not moving across the country, not changing my hair.
Move across the country. If I need a change, it just go sit in a corner for like 5 minutes or something. I don't even know.
Oh no, I go big.
Go big or go home.
Just, yeah.
Literally.
Yes. I don't have a home. Home is wherever I get in the car and drive to.
Apparently.
Hey, it's fun. I like building things. I like learning new things and like doing stuff with my hands. It helps with my anxiety. I like to organize. I like to clean. I like to construct things. So yeah, more projects to come.
I was just thinking, I think this episode will mark the 1 year of our podcast.
You're right. Happy 1 year.
Happy 1 year. This is it. We made it.
Yeah.
But I do think that this would be the week to the year that we started.
Right. That is true. Yeah.
I think that's true.
We'll
go with that. Science doesn't add up, but we're just going to go with it.
Yes, exactly. Got to watch some hockey. Being here in Maine right now, just watching on cable, the only thing I can watch is the NESN if the games aren't, if it's not Wednesday night hockey on NBC Sports. But can I throw a little shade?
Sure.
Okay.
Should I be offended? Like, am I going to be offended?
No, but I'm a little concerned about the Bruins fans.
Yeah.
Not liking what I'm about to say. We'll make it an unpopular hockey opinion. Whoever I listened to, which I should probably know, on the NESN broadcast of the Bruins Sabres game this week, I think on Thursday, were horrible. The play-by-play and the color guy were like missing plays, like not calling the play-by-play, like skipping over the negative things that were happening for the Bruins. And then the color guy at the end of the first period said, they just gotta play better. They gotta do better. It's a simple answer, but they gotta just do better. I was like, I think I could do this job. Why don't you guys hire me and Breezy to do this? Because I don't know what is happening here, but Bruins fans, let me know what's up. Were those guys fill-ins? Is it always like that? You deserve better. That's all I know.
Oof, that's rough.
I know. I feel like kind of bad talking about it, and I feel like I should take this out of the podcast, but like it was just alarming how yes, they're playing the Sabres, who we know are having a really tough season, but that, like, any good broadcaster knows that you have to do your preparation in order to make
Yeah.
it interesting when you're playing a team that like it might not be that interesting, and I don't know.
Yikes. Well, speaking of the Sabres,
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to catch any of the games thus far, but I kind of want to start watching them because I feel like maybe they just need more people to watch them.
No, no. They need a whole new team. They got a new coach. Um, they need some players. And they just traded somebody else. All they have is
Yeah.
Taylor Hall. That's not enough.
Well,
No,
I'm gonna
they don't need more
see.
fans, Breezy. We
I'm gonna
talked to the
see when
Sabres
they're.
fans.
I know, I know. I'm gonna see when they play next. And I'm gonna try to make an effort to watch them play, and maybe give them some good juju.
All right.
That's what I'm
Well,
gonna do.
I didn't help when I was watching them on TV, so maybe you will help.
Okay, we'll try it. We'll try it.
But yeah, I wanted to tell everybody that I am doing live streaming on
Yes.
video once a week on a brand new platform called View, View Live.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like Twitch. It's Twitch without playing video games. So anything and everything you could possibly share via a web browser, you can do and talk to me. And so obviously I talk about hockey and I pull clips and talk hockey. And this past episode, you can go back and watch. I did the highs and lows of being a hockey player based off of the highlights from the week. So like the Philadelphia Flyers losing to the New York Rangers 9-0.
That was crazy.
High for the New York Rangers and Zibanejad, who had a natural hat trick. Low for the Philadelphia Flyers, losing 9-0. So things like that. But you can chat and talk to me, and you can see me, and then you can see the clips. And there's also a super famous hockey player who has an account and is also an investor, and that would be TJ Oshie of the Washington Capitals. So make sure if you check me out, check him out because he goes live as well when the schedule allows, and was taking fan questions and all kinds of stuff. So view live. Hashtag not an ad, just letting you know where you can find me and watch me live stream. I do it typically on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, and you can sign up to get text messages to let you know when you go live,
Yeah.
which I have set up because I got to support you, obviously. The only bad sign is you go live when I'm still at work,
I
so
know.
it's a little tough. But I do watch. I watch back on it, so
Thanks.
you've been doing a great job.
Thanks. You've been busy with Breezy's Barbecue Pit. Can we get an update, please, on when people in the greater Los Angeles area can order from you, and what have you been making this weekend?
My oldest nephew, turned 18 this past weekend, and his favorite food is barbecue, which is probably another reason why he is up there on my list of best
Favorites?
nephews. No, but he had a request. He wanted me to make burgers on his actual birthday, and then we had a surprise birthday party for him. So I had to make two different kinds of chicken and pulled pork. And then he also had a request for me to make my pork belly burnt ends today and ribs. So we're doing a whole weekend long of barbecue food for him and just kind of celebrating him in his 18 years of awesomeness, as he would say. So yeah. And as far as when you'll be able to get stuff, still working out the kinks there, still doing some pricing and figuring out all the logistics, I guess, of it. My website seems pretty good, functionable. I just need to man up, I guess, and just pull the trigger. No, there's some prep I got to do. I got to get the to go containers and still figure out just kind of the small stuff, but soon, very soon. Anything else in the hockey world?
Nah, I was looking at headlines and nothing was that interesting. I'll read you the
Yeah.
three. I'll read you the three that I thought were the most interesting, and we're not going to talk about them. Berdor's face mask is up for that's up for charity is bringing Devil's Flair to PPE. So they made like a baseball hat and a COVID type face mask that looks like Berdor's goalie
Hmm.
helmet. Boring. The next boring. The next headline. Stasny is playing his 977th game to tie his father. That will happen on Monday when the Jets visit the Canucks. Paul Stasny is going to be tying his father with NHL regular season games. That's pretty cool.
That is cool. That's
The
it.
interview is way more interesting than anything Breezy or I have to talk about today.
Yeah.
Go listen. Let's just
Let's just
send it
listen
on
to
over.
Lou.
Welcome to the house, Lou Nolan. He is the PA for the Philadelphia Flyers. He has held this position longer than anyone on the other 30 NHL teams and is in his 49th season. Lou's been through it all: Stanley Cup conquests, the renowned Flyers Russia game, and Broad Street Bullies brawls. And he's acquired a few trademark announcements as well. Let's hand it over to our conversation with Lou Nolan. We're rolling. So, Lou, tell everybody who you are in your own words.
Well, first of all, I'm pleased to be with you guys, Ray Ray and Breezy. And to be on your show. I am the in-house announcer at the Wells Fargo Center for the Philadelphia Flyers and had been for a large number of years. And grown up with the Flyers, I was an original employee there at 67, and that's when my hair was a different color. And I just keep rolling along and having a good time at it.
So, tell us about the exciting announcement you made. So, let's go Saturday, March 13th, as a PA announcer. What was so special about that game?
Well, the Saturday, March 13th game, is that 2020 you're talking about?
Oh, no, 21. How about that? Well, you could do both. Tell us about both.
Well, I consider all my announcements to be exciting, but in 20 it would have been the end of season as it stood there before we had our lockout and COVID lockout, which has done a lot of different things to us. It's something that's difficult to deal with, but we're still doing it, like everybody is in the league under NHL COVID regulations. From the standpoint of the game on the 13th, I don't know what was actually more special than any other things, to be honest with you. But,
What I was getting at was that there was finally fans in attendance.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, that's our third game with fans in attendance.
Wow.
But it's limited to 15% in the state of Pennsylvania. So we were allowed to have 3,000 plus. And it was great to have them there. I mean, I felt really good about it. I was very happy to see them. The only challenge is that I am not in the penalty box doing my announcing for the COVID protocols. I am in the up in the press box as far as I could possibly be from the action on the goal line that we defend twice. So I look down, and when the goals go in, I can see it in the back of the net, which I couldn't see so much down on the ice. But I miss it. I can't wait to go back down, and I certainly hope I can.
For sure. I mean, how was it coming into the arena that day, knowing there's fans that are going to be in here? I mean, it has to be a completely different atmosphere than how it would be at full capacity, right?
Yes, very much so, Breezy. And let me begin with something else. When we came back in the bubble, and we did games on the web for our on the website for our fans, and we broadcast from there with not only nobody in the building, but no ice. There was no ice. It was just concrete and 0 people. So that was really strange. we were watching games on monitors, which were a few seconds behind. So our radio and TV guys were down press row, and we could hear them when there was a goal scored, and we wouldn't know about it for 8 or 10 seconds, but we knew it was going to happen. And from there, when we came back to no fans at the beginning of the season, which was not much different than having no fans, no ice. But we persevered with that. And then after that, we put the fans back. The first game that you're alluding to was interesting. You know, you always want to be on your game. You know, anything you do, you know, you girls are there. You want to have the best thing come forward and do the best podcast you can, ask the best questions. We want to do the same thing. You know, we want to put a program together that goes out to the fans, that they're having a good time when they get there. Now, they automatically had a great time because they hadn't been there in so long. They were quite happy to be there. You know, it was just a lot of fun. But you got to be on. You got to be on. You got to be right. You know, you can't mess it up. And we owe it to them to put a good show out there. And with all the hijinks that goes on with Gritty, our mascot, who you probably know, he's a little crazy man. And, you know, so we work hard at it. And we usually do a pretty good show.
Wait, I just have to tell you, I love Gritty. I think the whole persona and the shenanigans are just a hoot and a really great thing for the like younger generation of fans. Now, we know from speaking with Kevin Kurz, who is originally from Philly, but he's a writer for The Athletic with the Sharks now.
Great friend of mine.
Yes, and he was saying, Ringo, not Gritty.
Don't worry about it. It's Gritty coming in the back door.
Yeah. But yeah. He was saying that the fans initially in Philly were kind of like, what is this? You know, like, what is this? And they weren't like fully on board with it. What was your experience with the whole Gritty thing?
Well, I can validate what you're saying. It was pretty much a secret. I had seen a picture of him, but didn't know much about him. But nobody let on what was coming. And we knew it would be something that looked a little like the Philly Fanatic, or, you know, some kind of a thing with feathers or fur or something. But we didn't know exactly what it was going to be. And I got a little preview of it before it happened, and I knew we were going to bring him on. And we were going to bring him in the second period during intermission. And, you know, when they're shooting T-shirts and doing all these things. And sure enough, here he comes. And, you know, he's out there, and I don't think he was on skates at that point, but he's a very good skater. He's just a great athlete. I'll tell you a couple stories. But he's out there, and the fans kind of were very, I wouldn't say cold, but they had to be convinced. You know, it was like, whoa, what's this? Then the second time he's out there, he's shooting T-shirts, and the gun malfunctions, and he shoots one of his own T-shirt shooters. And that was kind of funny. And people like that. And then he was refereeing a goalie race. We had 3 goalies race 3 times around the rink. The winner gets, I don't know, whatever. It's all set up. And sure enough, he's skating that day. And he just hip checks all 3 goalies right into the boards from one side of the rink to the other. And the people loved it. And that was the beginning where he started to be really, really loved by the fans. Then the young people took over, and there are Gritty everything, you know, Gritty things. You can put them in your window in your car with suction cups. You can do anything you want. And he's also a fabulous athlete. I've seen him in a costume sink a half-court shot while making an appearance at an NCAA game.
Did you see him snowboarding?
Yeah, have you seen that?
That's incredible.
He does everything. He's amazing. We do an alumni camp every year, just like baseball does in lots of places. And I think the Kings probably have one. The alumni people come in and play with the alumni players and so forth. And he came down to the night, one of the night things we did there, which is like at a bar with a tent. We get a comedian in, and all the guys were just, you know, our players that from the teams and our alumni are there. We're all having cocktails and adult beverages, and here comes Gritty. And we had set up these 2 axe throwing lanes for the guys to do something, and they were taking turns with it. Well, he walks right over, gets the axe, boom, bullseye. The guy is amazing. I mean, he's just one of those people that is able to do things, and unlike me, who I just talk. Makes it a lot easier.
Oh, that's funny.
That
Well,
is
tell
funny.
us a little bit more about the fans, since we're kind of talking about them right now. What's your relationship with the Flyers fans? You've been, what is it, 49 seasons you've been doing this, the PA
Yeah,
announcement?
you did
Right?
your homework. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about the fans and what's your relationship with them, and then or describe them. Maybe you need to describe them first for people who maybe have preconceived notion of what Flyers fans are like, and then you can tell us what your relationship is.
We always say we had the best fans in hockey, as they say in Toronto, as they say, at the Kings. So everybody has what they think of the best fans. They just react differently to certain things. Now, Philadelphia is a tough town. You're performing, you're doing fine, but they won't hesitate to help you know when things aren't going real well. But, when I'm in the penalty box, down through the years, I've gotten to know an awful lot of people. And when they come to the game, they come down and they visit. And early on, I brought one or two people into the box at intermission. And then it got to be a little bit of a parade. People would come down and be waiting to see me and all this stuff, take a picture. I don't know why, but they do. And, but they're terrific fans. You get to know the fans. In the early years, I worked with that glass. So that was interesting at the Spectrum. And the glass behind me was very low. So I could stand up and be at eye level talking to the people behind me. Very low glass, which led to a couple of different fights in the stands with players going in the stands and things. Anyway, they changed that, and we're pretty much in a box now when we're down there. And but they understand the game. When you've been around, the team's been around since '67. Lots of the people initially that came when prices were lower and made every game all season really got to know the game. There aren't as many of them anymore that way. There are lots of corporate, things change and prices change. Corporations buy tickets, different people come to games, but they're still pretty much having a great time. And, at the point where they're saying, okay, I'm enjoying this game and I'm learning what icing is, what offsides is, and so forth. When they put the red light on, play stops for 2 minutes, these kinds of things they're figuring out. So I characterize our fans as knowledgeable, appreciative, sometimes caustic when they need to be, well, not needed when they think they need to be. I really don't think they need to be that way, but there are certain things that have happened down through the years that, makes you wonder why they do things. An element of people do whatever they're going to do. So, but I love them. They're great. They're good to me. They always have been great to me.
Well, that's a very good thing to hear. They should be good to you.
Thanks, Breezy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I certainly hope so.
What do you
Yes.
ever do to them? Nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Once we had have you ever gone to any of the games where they've had the bracelets? People have had the bracelets and the colors.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Like at the
handled.
concerts. Yeah.
Yeah, at the concert they do. We did it in hockey, and we had the bracelets sitting on all the 20,000 chairs, and people put them on, and they're all orchestrated. They're doing certain things, and the one game that we had them in, we were losing the game, and then one of our guys ran the opposition behind the net, boarded them, and the ref gives a penalty to him, and here comes some bracelets. Maybe 100, 150 bracelets come onto the ice. It's not good. It's not good. You both know that. So I make an announcement, and I say, do not throw any of these bracelets on the ice. It's danger to players. It's whatever. I said, and the referee has just told me, Paul Dvorsky, he's a good buddy of mine. He says, Louis, if you throw any more of these things on the ice after we clean them up a second time, I'm giving you a penalty for delay of the game. I said, okay, Paul. So I told the fans, don't throw any more. We're going to get a penalty. So, of course, something happens. Here comes another dozen bracelets or so. Paul skates over and says, I told you, 2 minutes for delay of the game. So I got on there on the mic and I said, okay, folks, I asked you before to stay classy and I told you about a penalty and now you've done it. We have the second penalty because of what you just did. If you're sitting beside somebody that is getting ready to throw a bracelet, don't let them, let's finish this game and see how it happens. So it's gotten that way a couple times, the early years, they learned that you don't hand out things on the way in to people. You hand out things on the way out if you're going to give something away. Otherwise, if possible, it could end up on the ice in any arena. So, can I tell you?
Very true. I mean, I'm really drawing a blank here, but if you're getting a penalty, like the crowd is basically getting a penalty, who serves the penalty?
Well, when referee comes over and he gives you a delay of the game, he gives the penalty to the home team because it's the home arena. So we already had a guy in the box. We were already down one guy. They do it again. Now we're down two guys. So I admonished them, and a couple of writers said I was like a petulant school teacher and talking to the fans. But they made a T-shirt with my picture on it, which said "Stay classy, fans" and all that jazz. So anything for a T-shirt from marketing. What can I tell you?
Yeah, man, I would hate to be the fan to know, oh man, I did this and this player's now going to hate me because now they're sitting in the box because of me. That would suck.
Right. Absolutely. But there are, when there are 100 of them, who could single anybody out?
Yeah.
And we don't even know who they were or whether they were just people that were there for one game.
Yeah.
It's not likely anybody that loves that game of hockey would be throwing things on the ice. It's just not acceptable,
Right, exactly. Well, tell us what a day in your life would be, maybe pre-COVID, because, well, we don't like to talk about COVID right now.
A day pre-COVID. Okay. Well, I mean, a game day is what you mean there, Breezy. Game day.
Yeah.
All right. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check a roster at home here. I'm going to print out a roster or look down the roster and make sure that if there's anybody's names that I haven't said before or I don't know, I will look them up. I'll go to the team website maybe and I'll hit a highlight and I hear how their announcers pronounce the names and make a note. I also have a bit of a pony that the league gives out about pronunciations, but it's not always right. Pretty much, but not always. So I get those. When I'm really stumped, I'll go down and see the PR guys or the trainers, and ask them about the players' names. I've had them go in. The trainers say, well, "We're not sure about that." And they went in and got the guy. They put the guy out in the hallway, and I said, "I'm the announcer. I need if I have to use your name, pronounce it for me." And he said, "I'm scratched, so don't worry about it. But here's how you say it." So good guys, hockey players, great guys, and. Which leads me to go a little further. I will get there about 2 hours before a game. Go to the press room, get a bite to eat, look down on all the stats that I need to know, make sure my pronunciations, as I said before, are correct. And then I would 6 o'clock. I'd wander down the hall and sit on a chair outside the room. The guys come out and get ready in the hallway. It used to be back in the old days that everybody charged out at one time, goalie leading them. Nobody was wandering around or standing around. And then Mike Richards and I guess it would have been, I forget the other guy's name, and they started standing out in the hallway before the game. And then more guys came. And now I would say there's probably as many in the hallway, lining the hallways after the rink, and just giving each other high fives and doing these rituals they all do, and as many as are in the room. And then when the goalies finally go, everybody goes out. At that point, I'm going around to my position. I know how much time I have. I know when I got to be there, and so forth. So I'll go down the hallway, come around, come down the stairs, open the side door, and go in. And then I start, and we'll do after all that prep, we'll do a little pregame announcements, and then the show starts and everything's scripted. It's all scripted anymore. There's nobody is extemporaneously saying an awful lot. I'll change things, but it's just the way it is.
Quick question for you. John Tavares or John Tavares?
Well, I don't really have to worry about it because he's in the North right now.
Well, I know, but we've had it.
I don't. Tavares.
Tavares.
Yeah, I would.
Okay, Tavares.
But I don't think John cares.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, but he's one of my favorite guys to watch. He's quite a player.
Yeah,
I had him for a long while when he was with New York, and then I guess he moved to Toronto, and yeah, he's a player and a half.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if he's on the long side of it now or not because they've got these two young guys that are really kicking butt. So he was the top player on the team for a while, and now he's like number 3.
Yeah.
So
Hey, it's not a bad place to be though.
No, he's made his millions. He's in good shape.
Yeah.
Much better than I, believe me.
Yeah. So let's go back to your announcements. I just had to know from your expert opinion on something about with Tavares. I think that's what you said. See, I've already forgotten it. I'm gonna have to go back and listen. Either way, you were saying that you change up some of your everything scripted that you announce, but you have taken some creative liberty with things like the Pico Power Play, which you are so well known for. Do you have a favorite thing to announce, or do you have a really memorable announcement you've made, or a goal, or a play? That's probably hard to pick one, but
yeah, it is. There have been a lot of them. I know that the announcements I've made that have stuck with me are on 9/11 when the World Trade Centers were hit. When we came back to play a couple days later, I had to stop a game and cancel a game in process because the President Bush, he went on and talked about it, and our guys were on the ice now for warm up, and they sat down, and they all were watching it. Everybody was watching, and then they went in the room, and we had on all the televisions, all in the concourse, and it was decided the game was tied 2-2. It was decided that the game would end in a tie. It was preseason, didn't matter, nobody cared. So we ended the game, and I remember saying that out of respect for what we just heard, the game was going to end in a tie. And I remember the people cheering so loud, and when you did the anthem. Prior to that game, people singing it and so forth. It's just that sticks with me. I did the Olympics, and I have a couple announcements from the Olympics that stuck with me, especially the Chinese women's team, which I fouled up.
What did you say?
Last name's first name's last.
Oh yeah.
But the French announcer that was sitting with me, I'm doing the game, and I'm reading off a computer, no paper, on the computer, and I'm reading, and he's in my ear, and he says, "Hey, Louis, they're all looking at you. Now, when they're looking at you, it's not a good idea. Okay? Something's wrong." So I'm saying the names, and one by one, they're along the line, they're going, they're turning, they're looking, seeing where I am. I had all the names backwards. So we fixed that for the next game that they were in, but I was a men's announcer, but I led off, and that was the first game. Chinese women against Bulgaria or something. I don't know.
Oh, crap.
I didn't know any of them. But I do know most of the guys that played, and a few names stumped me, but I learned about them.
Do you have a favorite name to say?
Simone Gagne was always a good name. I always like French names because they rolled really nicely. And so that was pretty good. I had a tough time with Yanni Nienema. I just couldn't say it. Gary Thorne? Would you know that name? Gary Thorne? He did ESPN for a long while with hockey. In fact, ESPN has a deal now to come back.
I know.
And I don't know whether he'll do any, but he was a good announcer. But he couldn't say Nienema at all, and neither could I at first. But if you syllabize it, that's the word, you can do it. So,
well, you sounded like you said it perfect, so it's hard to believe.
Yeah, it's Nienema, but it wasn't for first. It was not for a while. Then I had a guy say to me once, he got a penalty, and I thought he was Swedish, and it was Cale was his first name. He's a big blonde-haired kid from Jersey, and I called him Collie, and he leaned over at me and he said, "Hey, asshole, it's Kale." Pardon me for you fans. I said to myself, okay.
Okay.
He was always Cali whenever I said it again. Yeah, he's a creep. Why would anybody say that? I told him, have a little respect, pal. You'd probably be down in minor leagues in 2 weeks, you know? So it's crazy sometimes. Things happen.
I love it. I love that you were like, screw you, dude. I'm going to call you
know,
Kale.
Yeah, he shouldn't say
be
that.
Nice.
You know, I mean, all the guys that are the off-ice officials, you know, they work hard at it. I had one guy in the penalty box once. Again, it was Jersey. And he called the guy next to me, the timekeeper, Baldy. Guy asked him a question. He says, I don't know, Baldy. So now that sets me off a little. And with that, the glass in front of me breaks. Somebody hits it and it goes woof, powder. Bad, right? So we all move out of the box, and I go under the ice, and the player is standing on the ice because he was in the penalty box with the referee.
Right.
And I went up to him. I said, you should have some respect for this guy. You know, he's a timer. He's been around a long time. You know, I don't understand it. Why would you say something like that to him? So the ref says, Louis, what are you trying to do to me here? I'm having enough problem with this game, and you're inciting these guys. Get the hell out of here. So he chased me away, and I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
You get some liberties when you've been around a long time, and then when you push too far, you get told.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever gotten hit with a puck then? Based on what you were saying with the glass.
Yeah. Well, when we worked with that glass, I can recall that once, I mean, my wife didn't come to the game. She was at home, so I figured she's watching the game. And I'm sitting there, and a puck is deflected. Boom! I get hit right in the head. So I'm like this. And the announcers upstairs, I used to have a hookup where I could talk to the announcers. I was like the original guy between the glass when there wasn't anybody. TV had a mic. So they said, let's go down to Louis. Louis hit. So Bobby Taylor, who was with Tampa, he's announced with Tampa and played with us. He says, Louis says, are you doing okay? Are you right there? So I went, I couldn't make my tongue wouldn't work because I was like stunned. And it finally did. And I said, honey, I'm okay. Thinking my wife is watching me on TV after getting hit in the head with a puck. So everything's fine. I go home and go in the front door. And, you know, I figure that she's going to come and greet me and give me a hug and all this. And she's on the sofa downstairs asleep. Oh. I go downstairs. I said, did you watch the game? No, I conked out early and I didn't watch any of it. I said, okay, well, the world knows that you're there, but I don't know. It's nuts, just nuts.
Oh, that's too funny. So I got to ask, what is it like to drink out of the Stanley Cup?
An honor. And it's just, in the room after the first cup, we won the first one at home, May 19th of 74. Remember it forever. And that's one of my announcements, you know, last minute of the play in the third period. I didn't say anything about the cup because if they score a goal, they tie. I wouldn't say that, but so, it was fantastic. And the locker room was so packed with people. I mean, everybody and their mother was in there. And, waited my turn, got my picture, did all that, you know, everybody's having a good time. And about 3 weeks later, and this was before the players got a day with the cup, which they do now when they win. I mean, you know, guys like Jeff Carter and all that have won cups out your way, you know. He's taking it somewhere, wherever he lives. I don't know. Had it in Sea Isle City, New Jersey once. But
no.
He and Richie. I
don't think Philly likes him too much now.
No,
so.
Other people do it. They don't really like that. But
yeah.
In any event, I was asked if I wanted to go along on a photo shoot with the Stanley Cup and the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. Now, the Liberty Bell back then was still in Independence Hall. So it wasn't in its own building now where people walk through and see it. So I said, sure, I'll go. Joe Cadillac, who was the original PR director, and a buddy of mine, he called me and said, so I get my picture with the Liberty Bell and the cup, which is a great shot. And I tell the guy who's watching the cup, this is before the white glove days. We didn't have any of that. And I tell Lefty, I said, see that PSFS up there, that bank? He said, big building? He says, yeah. I said, I work in there. I said, we're not far from there, and that place is loaded with girls. I said, we should take the cup there. He says, okay. So we belt the cup in Cadillac's car, in Joe's car, and we go up and park downstairs in the parking lot underneath the building. This is like a 35-story building. And I'm worked on the 9th floor, but I'm bringing the cup into the main 2-story huge expanse where they have the bank. And I come walking in with it, and it was like it stopped traffic. Oh, yeah. Absolutely stopped traffic. And word got around, the cameras came out, and it was pretty cool to take it to work.
What about all the ladies?
Yeah, they liked it too. Lefty liked the ladies. Lefty always liked the ladies. He was not a slave to fashion. He would wear like plaid pants, striped shirt, paisley tie, and a different color plaid jacket. He was curator of the Hockey Hall of Fame for a little while in the early years. Oh, fun. But what a wonderful guy. Wonderful guy. Oh my God. But yeah, all kind of good stuff, I mean, it's you can go on and on and on and on, and things come to mind that I've even forgotten, about 2 years ago, we wrote a book. It's one of a series of books called These Walls Could Talk, Philadelphia Flyers. And a lot of the things that are in the book were stories that the fellow that co-wrote it with me is a sports writer. We sat and we talked about things for hours, and he recorded them all. And then, thank God, he was able to write it, that I didn't have to do that. But it's done pretty well. And, it's a couple years old. People are still asking for it. I'm still signing the occasional book, but it's good fun.
Yeah.
Who'd ever thought? Published? Give me a break.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
Do you have we'll ask you one more question, and then we do our final 3 that we ask everybody. So,
okay.
Do you have a favorite part of your job? Like, I mean, you didn't set out to do this, I assume, based on what I've read. Like, in the beginning, was this your ultimate dream job? And then, or did it just sort of happen, right?
Absolutely not.
Right. So
yeah, it happened. I always watched the original 6. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. What else did you say?
Oh no,
I always watched the original 6, and I guess I never believed that the basketball was coming back to my hands when I dribbled it, so I always had to watch it. So guys always took it off me, and I played football, I played soccer, and things of that nature, and baseball. But my neighborhood guys played a lot of basketball, and I didn't. So I played street hockey back when it wasn't really in vogue. And we used to get broken sticks at one of the minor league games and tape them together and put on our skates and go skate behind the school. And that's what led me into hockey. And I met a guy at the beach, that fellow's name I mentioned, Joe Cadillac, who's also a friend of a good friend of mine, Doug Raub, who was out on your coast. Mm-hmm. You guys may know Doug. Mm-hmm. And fine man. And so he became the PR director. I met him down the beach. We used to get a house at the beach, and I met him that way, and he became the first PR director of the Flyers. And I said, if you need anybody to help you, I'll help you. Right. So for a couple of years, I did stats and handed out things to people, got to know some people. And then the announcer left, and I said, I want to do that. Can I do that? Because I was already making announcements in the press area, but I was missing most of the game because we didn't have the TVs that are now in the press area. Every 5 feet, there's a big television. Well, there weren't any. And so I missed most of the game. I'd be writing and I hear a cheer, and it was a goal. So missed them all those years for the most part. And, went down there and auditioned for that and got that job. And favorite part, just when I start out and, if I'll say a big goal and the people cheer and I just like the people. The fans are great. The fans are the best part of all of it. And they come down and say hello to me or tell me that they don't know me, but they're hockey fans and somebody gave them tickets and this and that and the other. It's people. I'm a people person.
For sure.
So our final 3 questions are: who is your favorite hockey hunk?
Favorite hockey
hunk.
My favorite hockey hunk?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know. How about Catherine Tappan?
Well, that we have a hockey lady question. So Catherine Tappan can be your favorite hockey lady.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, after all,
That's the
who do I
second
think's
question.
the best looking guy in hockey right now? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Patrick Sharp, I guess. Right?
Lou.
Is he not a hockey hunk? I know you guys do hockey hunks.
Lou,
Yep.
you're
Am I
speaking-
up there in the top 10?
Oh
Yep.
yeah, he's
Oh,
my
yeah.
he's my ultimate hockey hunk. My
Really?
my current is Matt Barzal.
Yeah. Matt,
like
boy,
the-
can he play too? Woo-hoo.
Oh, he's like
Man.
a younger version of Patrick Sharp, don't you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah.
They look
Well, I
similar.
think I don't know him that well, but
In looks at least, and maybe
yeah,
not
I
in
guess
play.
he can sure play. Pat played here for a while, and then he sort of left here. He got sort of run out of town by the coach back in those days, who didn't like to put young guys in the games. And he went on for a great career with Chicago.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
did.
Great career.
Yeah, he
So-
did.
Yeah.
Okay, number 2.
Well, number 2 was your favorite hockey lady, so we'll keep it with Catherine Tappan unless you have a separate one.
Well, I got a few of them, but I'll stick with Catherine for now.
All right, and
Okay.
Breezy hit him with the
You
last
guys.
one.
You guys.
And the final question is, do you have a Sidney Crosby story?
Yeah, I guess.
Yes.
Even though Sidney plays for a different team, I respect the fact that he is an outstanding player, one of the best ever, and he always comes through in when it really counts for his team. And I've met him several times. I'm good friends with the guys in Pittsburgh that are the trainers and so forth, and I would always see them. And Sid was always hanging out there, and he was nice enough to give me a stick. I have one of his sticks in my collection.
Wow.
And just an okay guy. Would always take the time to meet kids and stuff like that. But he's under lots of pressure. It's like when Wayne Gretzky used to come into town. When he was with his first team, Edmonton, when they'd play here, it'd be him and no problem. And then then he went to L.A. and there'd be a few people hanging out with him and making sure he got where he had to get. And then when he was in New York, it was like he had these protectors, men in black that were following him around and making sure nobody bothered him. But he's a good guy too. So, but Sid, I like Sid. So, although I don't like it when he plays against us, but he sure is fun to watch. And they're good. Pittsburgh's good. Our whole division is good. So it's going to be a difficult time for us going forward with all these teams. We got hit by COVID pretty hard, and coming back from COVID is not easy for these players that were at the top of their game, and they got to work their way back. So we'll see.
Exactly. Well, are you on social media? Do you have a website? Do you want to tell people the name of the book again? Obviously, they know they can catch you in games at all the Philly home games. But
yeah, the book is called "If These Walls Could Talk: Philadelphia Flyers," and it's available on Amazon. There is a fan website, PA announcer Lou Nolan, that somebody put up years ago, and you can find me on Facebook. I don't do any of the Twitter or any of that or any of those other things. But if they look around, they can find me. And hey, listen, I had a blast. This has been great.
Oh, thank
I hope you
Lou.
guys enjoyed yourself and that I presented myself properly for you and did whatever
Absolutely.
Heck
you
yeah.
needed to do to make this a success.
It is a success. Thank you for sharing all those stories about your time with the players and asking names and all of those great memories. You hit us with like 300 stories, which are incredible. So we appreciate it.
I got a lot more.
Okay.
Some other time, maybe.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much, Lou.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me aboard.
Thanks for coming over to our House of Hockey podcast and hanging out with us. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. And in the meantime, you can follow us on social media. Just look for House of Hockey podcast. We'll be back next week.